welcome to the Celtic Cast On podcast. My name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada, where today it's a little chilly. It was warmer earlier, but I'm in the treehouse right now and it's kind of getting windy and it's gonna snow the next couple of days, so I can feel the cold kind of creeping in. So yeah, it's a little chilly up here, but hopefully it won't be too long. But I wanted to get back in touch. It's been quite a while since I've podcast. I don't even know how long it's been. I know I did the Christmas, I was gonna say Advent, but vlogs, but since then I haven't really done anything. So I'm gonna try again, see what happens. Right now we're in day 42, 43 of quarantine. Everybody knows what's going on in the world right now, and we have been in our house for a very long time. Our province is fortunate enough though that we only have 4 active cases right now. No one is actually in the hospital. So on Friday, which is 2 days ago, they released a statement that said that they were going to lift some of our quarantine as you were. So our next step is we are allowed to isolate with one other family. So we choose one other household that we can interact with, but that's it. So for instance, my parents are our other household. So now we can go to their house, they can go to our house. That's it. We can't converse with any other people out and about. We still have to social distance, keep 6 feet away from everyone, and our outdoor activities have opened up. So hunting and fishing have opened up, which weren't before. Golf has opened up again with social distancing, and our trails that were closed are now opened up. They have kept the ATV trails closed as of right now, which kind of sucks because we could be out in the woods having fun. But we're hoping in a few weeks that they'll open those up and then we can actually get out and enjoy ourselves. So that being said, day 43, I have found my knitting mojo again since I've been home. So I'm going to show you what I've been up to, my whips, my FOs, and some of the books that I have read recently that were really awesome that I wanted to share with you. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started with whips or FOs? Whips. Let's start with whips. So my first whip, it's Malcolm. It's been a while since you've seen Malcolm. He's still here, kicking around. He is housing my sweater project right now. This is the Ridgely Pulley by Bonnie Marie Burns. I had never seen this pattern before until I think I noticed it on Instagram, and someone posted a picture of it. It wasn't even that they were working on it, it was just a picture of the sweater, and I said, oh my gosh, that would be so awesome to put into my wardrobe. It could go with anything, I could pair it with anything. So I found some yarn in my stash that I could use, and this happens to be Classic Elite Yarns, which is long gone. Discontinued. Classic Elite Yarns Sky Tweed. I did knit one other sweater in this yarn and I love it, so I'm really excited to get this one finished as well. So let me show you what it looks like. So this is the front. Nice chocolate brown with some tweedy flecks, and I actually had one sleeve of this finished and I just did it from the pattern. The pattern's kind of weird. Now let me just check, because the sizing, I was kind of in between a size. I don't know if I have it in here or not. I don't think I do. Anyway, the size that I'm doing is kind of a little bit, when I say a little, a teeny bit larger than I would normally be around the bust. That was okay with me because the way that I would wear this is with a collared shirt underneath. So I wanted something that wasn't going to be super tight on me. So I went ahead and I did the 36. And the body is a little baggy on the sides. It's roomier than what I would normally wear. Again, fine. But I didn't take that into consideration when I started the sleeves. And although I noticed that I was having a lot of stitches around the sleeve. I didn't even worry about it. I didn't try it on at all until I had finished the sleeve. And then I realized, holy moly, that could fit 3 of my arms in it. So I had to rip the whole sleeve out, evidence as seen here. And I'm gonna redo the sleeves. I just haven't got around to picking it up again. I need to switch it to my smaller circulars. If you watched my vlogs at Christmas, you see that I got the smaller circular set. So I'm gonna switch it to those so that I can just knit around and around and not have to worry about the extra cable. But I wanna get this going again because I really wanna get it finished. So that's my first whip. Ridgely Pulley, Bonnie Marie Burns, and there's only, on Ravelry, there's only, I don't know if it's like 5, 8 people that have knit it at all. So really not a lot, which is surprising because it's such a versatile knit. And I noticed when I posted on Instagram that I was knitting it and a picture of the pattern picture itself, people were like, oh, I love that too, I'm gonna go stash diving. So I think it's just not widely seen, I guess. So that's the first one, Living in Malcolm. I do have another sweater on the needles, but I forgot to bring it up with me, so maybe I'll show you that next time. I also have, what's next? I started a pair of Crunkle socks. This is a pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. I've really been enjoying the Bakery Bears as of late. I always enjoy the Bakery Bears, but as of late it's kind of been a good distraction for me, as well as Pudding Club. I've been making a few of Kay's puddings from Pudding Club, so that's been fun. So this is the Crunkled sock by Kay. If I put it on a blocker, I'll be able to see it a little bit better. I'm doing some online learning for work, and I started this sock. I almost put it on the blocker backwards. I started this sock to kind of keep my hands busy while I was sitting there listening to these lectures and different things. So I actually finished the first one today, and it's a very good vanilla pattern. You don't have to think too much about it, but it yields a beautiful sock. So if you can see the little bubbly pattern on it. So this is the first sock. It's really high. I think I've got more foot. I haven't did the garter stitch for the toe yet, and I haven't woven in any ends. But this is the first one. This yarn is Sweet Skein of Mine, and it's her color Donut Kill My Vibe. I don't have very many speckled yarns in my stash. I think actually 2 of Sweet Skein of Mine's, Amanda's, and that might be it. But when I saw this pattern, I thought that this yarn would be perfect for it because it would still show the speckles and yet it would still show the texture. And someone's gonna mow their grass. Hopefully you can still hear me over this and it's not annoying. So there's the first sock. And I'm hoping to get the second sock done not too long. It didn't take me very long at all to knit this sock. And it's a little shorter in the leg than I would normally knit. I usually knit quite a longer leg. But I think this will be good for summer, fall, spring. We'll see. I'm enjoying them. So that's the first sock of that. There's my messy, messy skein of Sweet Skein of Mine with lots of speckles. So that's that one. Take it off the blocker here. And the other one I haven't quite started yet, but I'm gonna show you what my plans are. This little bag, I really love this little bag. I hope that lawnmower isn't very annoying. This is my Needlecraft bag by Cheryl, who lives in Ontario. She gave it to me to try out maybe last year or the year before, but I love this little bag. It's the perfect size for socks. Now she has, which I think is really awesome, she has the bag split into 2 sections, 1 section, 2 section, and there's this little notions pouch that's actually sewn into the bag. so it's sewn right into the sides. And I think this is really awesome because usually when I'm knitting I need lip sole or something. I just zip the top of it open and everything I have is right in there. I don't have to dig in the bag or anything. And then when I'm done, pull the cords and away we go. I really love this bag. Super cute. So in my cactus bag, I am housing basically yarn. I'm going to knit the macron, I don't know how to pronounce that. You know, the little pastries, macrons, that they're usually all like pastel-y colors. So Manda, let me check her last name. Manda D. Jensen? No, Manda J. Anson. Close. She made a pattern called the Macron socks. I'll say Macron if I'm saying it wrong, apologies. They're little shorty socks, and I thought they were super cute. And I thought it would be a great idea to use some of my minis from my advent calendar that I got from Giddy Yarns. So I did some digging around, and I have some of them skeined up already, or rolled up into balls, and some of them not. So this is kind of my colorway. I know hers are more of like there's a yellow in there and a reddish orange, but I don't have those. So this is what I'm gonna go for. This is what I picked out of my advent calendar. And there's gonna be a cream color in between all of these. And I might use that dark pink for heels and toes. I'm not quite sure yet, but that's the plan. So those are gonna be my lovely little shorty socks. And I've been finding that when I knit, I'm not very good at starting projects. I don't like casting on and that in-between phase. So I figured out if I start something new before I finish the last one, then I'm enjoying knitting the new one, and then I can slip back for a second or two to finish the last part of the project that I hadn't done yet. So that's gonna be my new sock I'm gonna start. So let's move on to FOs and I'll show you what I finished. All right, so here are my FOs. So when we started quarantine, I had plenty of whips on the go, but I wanted something brand new to start, something exciting, something distracting. So these are my social distancing socks that I knit. And here is one of them. I do have a pair, but I only brought out one sock blocker, so it's my pair. These are the Atlantic Current socks. And who's the, let me see, by Melia Bella. Melia Bella. And the yarn is London House Yarns, and it's a sock set called Papillion. And I got this as a D-stash from someone else, and I absolutely love the colors. So it came with a little mini for the heels, toes, and cuffs, and then the self-striping sock yarn. I have a lot of this left, so I might knit a pair of shorty socks as well. So there is my first sock, my finished pair of socks. My first finished pair of socks, because I've been knitting a lot of socks lately. So let me show you another pair that I finished. Now this sock, if you've been watching for a while, or the last time I did podcast, you might recognize these socks because they've been on the needles for quite a while, and I finally got the gumption to finish them. This is Stray Cat Yarns sock yarn in the Dandelion and Denim, or Denim and Dandelions colorway. And this one, I don't know what it was. I just stopped at the heel and it had been kind of there for a long time. And then I finished both of them. I did knit another pair of socks in this yarn. I didn't have a problem before, but for some reason this skein of yarn was so splitty, like incredibly splitty. And I know I can see in some places, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but right here there's a little pick where I didn't get the whole stitch. But there were some parts where I had to like pick up and re-knit stitches over and over and over again so I could stop it from splitting. So maybe I just got a bad skein of yarn, because normally my last skein of yarn that I had of hers was perfectly fine. So that's my second pair of socks. And I do have one more pair of socks. Can you tell I'm on kind of a sock kick right now? I think actually this next pair of socks I started because I had my issue with my sleeve on my sweater, because I wanted to get my sweater finished, and I was cruising along, finished that sleeve, and I was like, oh, I've only got one more to do, and then disaster struck. So I cast on a pair of socks, and it was these socks, and that kind of started the ball rolling for all of the socks that I've been knitting right now. So my friend, actually a co-worker that I work with, of course she's a co-worker, I do work with her, I asked her if she had any sock yarn scraps, because she knit a ton of socks. She doesn't wear socks. She doesn't like the feel of the pearl bumps on her feet, but she knits a lot of them and she sells them. So I asked her if she had any scraps left that she could sell me. And she said, yeah, I've got tons, I'll have a look. So she sold me this Ziploc bag full of scraps, which to me is so fun, digging through other people's scraps and making socks out of them. So in her bag, she seemed to have there were self-striping ones that I wasn't really sure what colors they were going to turn into, because they're all wrapped up in little balls. But I did find kind of like I'm pretty sure it's Croy sock yarn. So it's like the two colors that are blended together in the one strand. And so I picked all of that out of her yarn and I made socks with them. So this is the first one that I knit. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different little balls of yarn in this. And then when I knit the second one, it was all going well until I ran out of the blue color right here. So I had to do a little improvising, and then for the toe as well, I didn't have that same bluish green, so I used the same gray and white that I used in the cuff. But I mean, I hardly made a dent in the yarn that I picked from the bag. So I'm gonna have lots of fun making all kinds of scrappy socks out of that sock yarn. So definitely, if you have scrappy sock yarn that you're not going to use, and you think that I might be able to put it to good use with some socks, I will buy it from you. It's so much fun. I love putting different scrappy projects together. So those are my 3 pair of finished socks. I do have one other project that I finished, and it is called the Brunstain cowl. This is the Isolde Colorwork Club. I was gifted it as a birthday present. And basically what the club is every month for 3 months you get a pattern yarn in a kit, and it's a colorwork pattern. So this was the first one. This is the Brunstain cowl. Now in the kit you could pick from 3 different colorways. You don't see what the colorways are, but you choose either you want to go for neutrals for all 3 packages, you want to go for classic for all 3 packages, or you want to go for vibrant for all 3. So originally I chose classic, which is neutrals with a pop of color. Seems to be what I would normally go for. But when I saw the neutrals colorway for the cowl, I thought, oh my gosh, that one would really go with my winter jacket, because this year I bought a bright yellow winter jacket. So this will go perfectly with my yellow jacket. So I actually did a swap with a girl in the States who really wanted the classic kit for this cowl. So we did a swap and I love it. The yarn is Rama, I'm gonna say Peter, but I'm sure it's Petter or Petter, P-E-T-T-E-R. It's a super wash and it's so soft. I love it. You don't have to worry about pricklies up around your face or your neck, because that would be something that would bother me, but not in this one. So that's my cowl. I have the 2 other kits have arrived. I just haven't knit them yet. So I'll wait until I start knitting them to show you what else I got. So those are my FOs. Now, I hope my children are behaving themselves down there somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where they are right now. So to finish up. I have been in the past telling you about books that I've read and ones that you should read too, and I have 2 awesome 5-star books that I wanted to let you know about. If you are a historical fiction fanatic like I am, you might enjoy these books too. So the first one is called The Secret Messenger, and it's a book by Mandy Robotham. If you've been listening for a while, you may recognize her name from a book that I had recommended earlier called The German Midwife. Loved that book so much, and when NetGalley came up with The Secret Messenger for me to review, I jumped on it because I knew it was going to be a good one, and it did not disappoint. So, a little overview of the book. It's a time slip novel based in Venice, 1943, and then in London in 2017. So it goes back and forth between those 2 dates. So Stella is living a double life as a typist for the Wreck, and then as well as a resistance fighter during the evening. And on the flip side, in 2017, Louisa's mother dies, and when she's clearing out her attic of her house, she discovers an old typewriter, and that kind of leads down to the road of where did it come from, who did it belong to, and did she really know everything about her mother that she thought. So it kind of shows the time slip and how these 2 worlds collide. It's a 5-star book. I don't want to give away any more, but you should definitely read that book. That and this next one are my 2 favorite books so far this year. The second book is called When We Were Brave by Suzanne Kelman. This one I read in 2 days because I couldn't put it down. It was so good. Again, another time slip. Most historical fiction are time slip novels. Vivi, in 1944, has signed up for the Special Operations Executive, Executive, SOE is what it stands for, which is an independent spy network set up by Churchill himself. And Sophie, who is in the present day, finds a picture of a mysterious aunt that she has no idea about during World War II. So her family's story of her doesn't quite seem to add up to where she was in the picture and what time frame she was there. So she's determined to figure out who she was and what she was doing. And again, how these 2 people collide, how their worlds collide, and what happens in between. I definitely could not put this one down. You should really read it. I loved both of them. I've kind of been in a niche right now with historical fiction where I really love hearing about the resistance fighters and what they did during World War II and how brave and courageous they were, and had it not been for them, we might not be where we are today. So definitely check both of those out. And that's my book club for today. So I don't know that I have anything else to share with you today. I really hope you can hear me over that lawnmower over there. Yeah, I think that's it. So I just wanted to check in for a few minutes and say hi. I hope you all are well. Stay home, flatten the curve, stay safe, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye. There is one other newbie that you have not met yet. We lost our dear Izzy. It would have been last summer now, and we weren't looking for a new dog, but this dog came along and she needed a home and she needed it right now. So we gave her a home. So come here, Bear. This is Bear. Yes, she is a girl and her name is Bear. Let me see if I can get her in the picture here. Bear. Hi, baby. So this is Bear. She is a German Shepherd, part something else, because although she looks like a German Shepherd, oh, she's so cute, she has very stubby legs. So she's part something else. We're thinking maybe Husky. But she is a lovable girl. She is so quiet. You would never even know she's in the house half the time. And yeah, we love her. She is shedding like a crazy wildebeest right now. So she has giant tufts coming out of her. And actually, she hasn't had the smoothest ride since she arrived. the first day that we picked her up, they had told us, we also got her from Elder Dog, which is where Izzy came from too. So we were automatically approved for a dog, which is why she got her home with us so quickly. But when we got her into the truck, her breath smelled so bad that we knew something was terribly wrong in her mouth. So we hooked her up with a vet the next day, and they said yes, indeed, that she needed to have several teeth pulled out, that her teeth were in very bad shape. So we booked that right away. There was no point in waiting for her to get comfortable and then for us to take her into something traumatic like that. So we just took her straight away, and she ended up having 8 teeth taken out. 8. And she had one of the holes in her teeth was as big as a pea, like a garden pea that you would eat. It was amazing. We actually saw the teeth that she took out, and she said some were so rotten that they just were able to pull them right out. So that she was probably in a lot of pain when she first got here. She was so much happier when she got them out and was eating well and not so withdrawn. I mean, dogs are expected to be withdrawn when you first get them, but she was clearly in pain. So that's fine. Fast forward a few more months, and we had taken her out for a walk. Well, I had taken her out for a walk, and she was kind of stumbling a little bit. So I thought maybe she was getting arthritis in her paws. But then she started holding up her paw, like it hurt, but there was nothing in her pad at all. I couldn't see anything. And so we waited a couple of days, and by then she could hardly walk on her feet when we took her to the vet. And the vet said he knew right away that it was an autoimmune disease. It was attacking her feet. And what happened was her toenails started to fall off. Literally, her entire toenails fell off. Her paws were bleeding and red and sore, and she had a really hard time. So we had to put her on a really healthy dose of medication, of which she's just getting weaned off of now. Her paws seem to be back to normal, and she's kind of on some vitamins and that right now that we're just going to slowly wean her off of. But yeah, she hasn't had an easy go, but we're very lucky to have her, and very lucky that we're able to take good care of her. So that is our new recruit, and I don't know where she left. Bear, come. You can see her one more time. Here she comes. Come here. Come here. Oh, hi. Hi. Come here. Can you sit? Can you sit? Good girl. Oh, good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. She doesn't like the camera at all. Even when I'm taking pictures of her, she turns the other way. She's a complete camera snob. Aren't you? Yeah. All right, that's all I have to show you for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.